All right, take 3. Thought I'd go over some basics using basic hand tools. This is an inner rocker piece that needs to be patched on a vehicle. So I made a template of it, transferred the template to a piece of 18 gauge steel, and I marked it knowing which side's in, which side's out. That way you don't make the wrong side piece. Set it on the metal, trace it out, and I need a flange that rolls in. Now I could use, countless other machines, but I wanted to do this the way that I used to do it before I had so many tools, just to kind of give a back to the basic idea. So I'm just going to throw this thing in the vise, lining up my edge with the edge of the vise. Now you can use, duck-billed pliers if you have those, vice grips, but I'm going to use these, and there's a specific reason why, because everybody has these laying around, right? So all you do, welcome to Memphis. So all you do is start working your flange. Now don't go too far, don't get over hasty with it, right? Work my flange, but I wanted to give just kind of a hands-on, a little bit more detailed, and hopefully get it to where, maybe some guys that are at their home shop with limited tools can make some pieces that are a little bit more complicated than just a flat piece of metal. All right. Hectic today, hectic. So we're getting the flange just kind of started, I would say probably somewhere in the 45-degree realm. And you'll notice that this needs to arch, right? So I'm going to put this thing in the vise, get it on the flat on the side, and not worry about that direct arch just yet. Now once I start rolling that flange around in that arch, it's of course going to distort the piece of metal. Now if you have a shrinker stretcher, you can just shrinker stretcher that thing. But if you don't, we're going to tackle what you do or can do rather than use a shrinker stretcher. All right, so we got the flange going. You can see how it's puckering up here, even though we already bent that down. It's puckering up. There's way too much metal here, right? So normally what I would do is I would shrink this edge, especially around this curve, right? And then that would help the metal roll on around. We're going to pretend like we don't have the capabilities to shrink the edge. And I'm going to show you a way you can get around that, which is basically just doing relief cuts. So, pair of snips, right? And then basically you'll just cut a few reliefs, as few as possible, because you're going to have to weld these up. All right. And we know the metal's puckering right there, so we definitely want one right there. All right. And we'll take and roll just a little bit more, making sure we're still on our line. All right. So again, don't try and go straight 90 right out the gate. compressor. All right, so we got it started rolling around. I want to cover a few things, T-dollies being one. Now, of course, this is just a chisel that I welded to a piece of scrap metal. It tapers down, and then I, dress my edge. And you'll have to dress them all the time. But a T-dolly is good. We won't be using this one. You stick it in your vise, and if you're hand forming something, say you need, whatever this is, probably 3/8 to a 1/2 inch round on your edge, right? So you can knuckle that edge over. You can make it more sprawling if you want. Right? So that's T-dollies. We are going to use a T-dolly, and occasionally I use the other end of this, as you can see, right? It's been beat up pretty good, and I have to dress that regularly. But I have another one that I made out of scrap metal, right? You'll notice that this one has a flat on it, right? And I weld that piece of angle, just a scrap piece of angle with scrap metal. Because you'll find that when you're hammering on these T-dollies, they want to walk around on you. If you weld a piece of angle on it, it keeps it from trying to run off of the vise, right? Which is not what you want. You don't want this thing to run off the vise. So basically, you can run it this way, or you can run it this way. Now you can get this edge as sharp as you want to get the edge, as sharp as you have your edge on your T-dolly. But for this one, I kind of need it slightly rounded, because that's exactly what it is. Now, jumping over, again, address that edge, right? And you can see this edge is trying to run out on us, right? It's arching out through here. So that tells us that we need one more relief cut. Again, normally I would shrink this mechanically, but we're doing this as if we didn't have All right, now you have those random overlaps. You can see how much it's overlapping. That one's probably 3/8, probably 3/16, an eighth. That one's probably another 3/8. Now, you just go back through and you'll cut the excess again with your snips. Just tracing that line is all you'll do. Well, it's going to give me hassle. See, nice, smooth. You can come through, weld it, however you have cables. Again, you can see how it's making the flange kind of get weird. That's why we don't dress the flange super, super tight in the beginning. Then jump on to your next one. Normally I would go ahead and tack that first one. That way it doesn't move around on me. But for the sake of the video and time, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna work it on around. Nice, smooth. Same thing. Let your snips run right on the line of your initial cut. You'll see the amount that we're cutting off right there. Nice, smooth, come through, weld that together. Dress your edge. Make sure it's nice and uniform. Run it on down through there. Clean that edge off. And there's your flange, right? You can get this as ticky as you want. I can see a low spot right here. All of that is easy to address, you know, with just basic tools. Hammer, vise, T-Dolly. Right? Grind this thing smooth, clean it up. You have your patch panel. Now, to make the edge go back the other way, what I'll do with this piece, and I may record a video on it, I'm just gonna make a flange, an extra flange, right? You can make that out of one piece where it double flanges, but you get into a lot of shrinking, stretching, and it's a lot more complicated a piece to make. A wise man once told me, kiss it, which means keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate things that have no need. You can do this, as you can see, 15 minutes, make this piece, you know, probably another 15 in welding it, grinding it, cleaning it. Make your secondary flange. Again, if you don't have a shrinker stretcher, because of course that flange is going to need to flange this way, same thing. Hit it with a pair of snips. It'll widen it up the gap because this has to be stretched to go around. You can get it as thicky as you want. You can go back through and weld up those widened parts and clean it up and make it look like it's all one solid piece. So anyways, get out in your garage, make cool stuff, make something out of metal. You guys have a good day. Still here. All right, so like you see all those videos, right, that are, you know, watch until the end. Wow, you guys watched until the end. I appreciate that greatly. In the comments, put MA in the first 48 hours of this video, and we'll see if we can't do something cool for you. Thanks a lot for watching till the end.